Dee Dee, this story evolving, of course, hour by hour. Breaking tonight, investigators releasing brand new photos. You're seeing them right here of that person of interest. And Utah's public safety commissioner telling NBC News tonight they have no idea right now if the suspect is still in Utah or has fled across state lines. Investigators also here late tonight sharing this brand new video. It shows someone, they say, on the top of a campus building, then jumping down and darting off into that nearby neighborhood. The FBI adding tonight they have now recovered footwear impressions, a palm print, and a key piece of information here, the likely weapon.
We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing.
Once again, that tip line at the bottom of your screen there tonight, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Investigators now offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. The governor adding tonight they will pursue the death penalty when this person is caught.
White House, Jeff.
And we are live to Washington, D.C. tonight, Dee Dee, where 800 National Guard troops will be taking to the streets in the coming days to address crime in our nation's capital. D.C.'s police force is also now under federal control.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged-out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
Now, any request to take control of the city's police department for more than 30 days must be passed into law. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth spoke about what residents can expect from troops patrolling the district.
There's no rogue law enforcement going on from the National Guard, but there's also the application of common sense. We're not going to have National Guards sitting there like this, seeing a crime committed and not do something about it. You can help somebody, interdict, temporarily detain like we did in Los Angeles, and hand over to law enforcement. Those are the types of things that National Guard can be trained to do.
Now, some residents protested the federal takeover. According to D.C. police, violent crime has actually fallen year over year in the past 2 years. Homicides down 12%, assaults with a dangerous weapon down 20%, robberies down 28%, and sexual abuse down 50%. But regardless of these stats, some people are still living in fear.
Some shots, some bangs. We've seen police officers running in all directions.
I almost feel a little desensitized to it in a way because it seems to be of the norm.
It's actually pretty scary that these teenagers own guns.
Live to Baltimore, Los Angeles, also Chicago tonight. All cities that the president signaled out as potential future targets as he seeks to expand his crackdown on crime.
And tonight here at the Live Desk, we have brand new audio recordings just released, now revealing those emergency responders desperately trying to save people in the critical hours of the flooding. Listen here as a volunteer firefighter can be heard warning those Texas officials about people trapped along an impassable road around 3 o'clock that deadly morning.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4 standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Now, that code red did not come for another 90 minutes, but for some of those residents across central Texas, it didn't arrive for another 6 hours. Dispatchers frantically coordinating then with those rescuers out on the ground as they got overwhelmed with all of those calls for help.
We received a phone call at our fire station to have a lady, she's frantic. She's at Casa Bonita, 117 Corto Way or Casa Bonita Lodges, and she said her children are on top of one of the cabanas and they're trapped.
Wow. Now, President Trump now expected to tour the damage tomorrow and meet with some of those search crews as well as families of the flooding victims. Tonight, at least 150 people still reported missing as that death toll continues to rise.
The victims of the catastrophic.
Latest enforcement blitz now well underway. Operation Charlotte's Web is what it's called. Officials say it has netted more than 130 arrests so far over the weekend. Officials say about a third of those suspects arrested had prior criminal records. Let's show you a brand new video here just into the Live Desk. One encounter turning a bit ugly. Federal officers here seen smashing the truck window of an Honduran immigrant. He was then yanked to the ground and detained for a time being. The man says he told those officers repeatedly he is an American citizen. He has been one since 2019 and had a real ID. Now, another viral moment here caught on camera in Charlotte from over the weekend. 2 U.S. Border Patrol agents started questioning landscapers hired by that local resident to decorate a Christmas tree in the front yard. The North Carolina governor here speaking out about the fears growing, intensifying across several communities.
We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks.
Now, DHS officials firing back a bit here, sharing this video of a suspect trying to ram a van, they say, into federal agents. Wow, dangerous stuff there. Federal officials warn their men and women out in the streets on patrol are facing dangers every single day. The new federal presence has sparked widespread demonstrations throughout the city of Charlotte. As you see one here, brand new video just in. This one happening outside of a Colombian bakery, which has since closed up shop for the time being. Now to nearby Raleigh, North Carolina, where Border Patrol agents are expected to move in here by tomorrow. The governor actually confirming the plans tonight. He is now urging residents there in Raleigh to remain peaceful.
The Department of War is
Moved by the prosecution today. Brian Kohberger has agreed to plead guilty to spare his life just as jury selection was weeks away in the quadruple murder case of the 4 University of Idaho students. According to the Idaho Statesman, he will get 4 life sentences for each of the victims you see right here. Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, and Madison Mogan. In exchange, the death penalty will then be dropped. All of the victims' families were allegedly giving a letter by the prosecution reading in part, quote, "This resolution is our sincere attempt to seek justice for your family. This agreement ensures that the defendant will be convicted and will spend the rest of his life in prison." Goncalves' family angered by the deal, saying that it was unexpected and writing on social media that the state of Idaho has failed them. The deal brings a possible end to the years-long legal proceedings against Kohberger. Now, a sentencing hearing is now scheduled for Wednesday, where families of the victims will have the opportunity to speak to Kohberger directly, but it's unclear tonight if he'll also choose to speak to them. Prosecutors had submitted a variety of evidence in this case that they say ties Kohberger to these crimes, including DNA found on a knife sheath, his car at the scene, and his phone, which was pinged by cell towers at that scene.
now underway. Jeff, what are you learning?
Late tonight, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announcing Operation Southern Spear that will be tasked with eliminating narco-terrorists. Writing here, quote, "The Western Hemisphere is America's neighborhood and we will protect it." Now, this comes after President Trump was reportedly briefed earlier this week on several possible military operations in Venezuela, including a strike on land, but an attack was not considered imminent. Operation Southern Spear will be led by U.S. Southern Command. They shared this video right here today of some of its forces training in the jungles of Panama alongside Panamanian forces. America's most advanced aircraft carrier is also now operating near Venezuela as well. Meanwhile, Venezuelan citizens marched in their capital right here. You see some of the video of Caracas in support of their leader, Nicolas Maduro, who is now pushing for a massive mobilization of his military forces, but insists he wants peace.
No more endless wars, no more unjust wars, no more Libya, no more Afghanistan. My message is yes, peace. Yes, peace.
So far, the U.S. has carried out 20 military strikes on alleged drug boats, killing at least 80 people. The U.S. claims this show of strength is to fight alleged drug trafficking, but Venezuelan officials believe the U.S. is trying to topple the Maduro regime.
China. Jeff.
Breaking tonight, Didi, brand new video shows the strikes Israel says are targeting Iran's nuclear sites and also top military and nuclear scientists. Iranian state television says the head of Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard is dead. New video just in of some of the damage in Tehran. Israel is calling up tens of thousands of soldiers to prepare for Iran's retaliation.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat.
Live look at the White House tonight, where President Trump is convening a cabinet-level meeting at this time. Secretary of State Marco Rubio with this statement right here, saying the U.S. was not involved in these strikes. Take a look at this map of known U.S. military bases across the Middle East as well. U.S. officials now fear Iran might target some of these bases right here, which could result in a mass casualty event. The U.S. is warning Iran not to.
Our team, Jeff.
Trump administration, Dee, doing damage control tonight after a major national security breach. The Atlantic's editor-in-chief was accidentally included in a text chain on the app called Signal about strikes on the Houthis in Yemen. Take a look at some of the messages that were exchanged right here. The vice president and others giving the green light on the attacks. Secretary of Defense tonight downplaying the seriousness of this situation.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia. Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that.
Here's just some of the high-profile people that were in that chat room. Jeffrey Goldberg says National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, who you see here on the far left-hand side of your screen, is the one who let him in. He argues what he learned could have put thousands of American troops at risk if it fell into the wrong hands.
That's a lie. He was texting war plans. He was texting attack plans. I didn't publish this, and I continue not to publish it because it felt like it was too confidential, too technical, and I worry, honestly, that sharing that kind of information in public could endanger American military personnel.
Live look at the Capitol tonight, where Democrats are now pushing for a congressional investigation into why these military operations were discussed over an unauthorized messaging service instead of secure communications channels.
A new ceasefire.
This historic ruling, Dee, has now stripped away judicial roadblocks for not only President Trump's agenda, but also for future presidents of both parties. Rulings will now only apply to states, groups, and individuals that sue. In the majority opinion, Justice Amy Coney Barrett wrote, quote, "When a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power to."
These judges have attempted to dictate the law for the entire nation. This was a colossal abuse of power which never occurred in American history prior to recent decades.
In a scathing concurring dissent, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson argued it is not difficult to predict how this all ends. Eventually, executive power will become completely uncontainable, and our beloved constitutional republic will no longer be more. In a bit of judicial drama, Barrett responded saying, quote, "Justice Jackson decries an imperial executive while embracing an imperial judiciary." The ruling avoided addressing the constitutional merits of President Trump's order ending birthright citizenship for babies born to undocumented immigrants. A federal judge in Maryland will take up an emergency hearing on the matter on Monday.
The government shutdown putting places of worship right to the test. A TikTok influencer from Kentucky now going viral for posing as a needy mother, putting churches and religious groups to the test to see if they would help feed her starving baby during the government shutdown. Now, according to Nicolée Monroe's videos, 33 out of the 42 churches told her no. Here's how one of the biggest mega churches in the nation, Houston's Lakewood Church, responded.
Is there any way y'all could help with formula?
We do have a benevolence ministry. I can take down your information and put in a request for you.
You said it would take a couple of days to weeks?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, if approved.
A spokesperson for Lakewood says while they don't carry baby formula, it supports more than a dozen food pantries that do in the Houston area. And the phone operator made an error by not sharing with her that information. Now, some churches who denied the request have called the social experiment, quote, evil. Others who did offer help included a mosque, a Buddhist temple, and a small church in her home state of Kentucky.